Good afternoon, sports fans. Rick Solstier here, Southern Ontario Auto Restore. I'm going to go through the shop, have a look at what's going on. Here's a quick look at the board. Everything on the left is in the shop. Everything on the right is waiting to come into the shop. So yeah, it's been a pretty busy year. The chair of knowledge and serenity, so they say. Oh, I'm gonna go over a couple of things. This is our little shelf of shame here. What happens in the automotive trade? Stuff like, remember to take the pulley off before you try and remove a harmonic balancer. Don't tie off your overflow line because you'll end up blowing other parts of the engine. Oh yeah, a little bit of electrical tape. That was a body mount on a '64 Bel Air. And this was inside of a car. That was the stereo. Yeah, didn't work. I don't know why. Kind of weird. Our restored 34 fridge even works. Amazing. So yeah, so this is the office. Almost got my motor book collection all up to date. Love those books. They have all the pictures, the front end pictures of the cars. You guys know what I mean when I talk about that. Let's see what's on the floor. Finally got the quarter panel in for the 69 Charger. That was like 6-8 months. It's been crazy. Parts right now are horrible. 86 Mini. Little Mini. We're almost getting ready to get her started. We're just going to finalize the cooling system. Run a few more wires, and yeah, it's just got a 95 Integra VTEC motor in that. That's gonna scooch pretty good. We got a 67 Mustang. This was brought in. We didn't restore this car, but we did the interior. So all the new interior. There was nothing in it when it got here. No back seats, no nothing. So that's all done. The interior lights work. We just got the battery disconnected. 347 stroker, 3 2 barrels. We just customer wanted air conditioning working in the big rad and some bling on the front end of the motor. So here you go. That's all done. Excuse the dust, but we'll get her cleaned up before we deliver it. 63 Bel Air, getting ready for paint. Got the blocking almost done. And we'll trim it out, door jambs and all that stuff, and put her together and give her the final paint job. We put the 5.7 LS1 out of a 02 Camaro. Of course, it's got air conditioning. So yeah, that runs really nice too. And then we have the Camaro. Now this car was restored, like body-wise. It was all painted at another shop last year, and it was horrible. Wrong color, wrong shade. It was supposed to be that Corvette bronze, but yeah, it wasn't done right at all. They didn't even attempt to put the roof on to make sure that worked before painting the car, which is a no-no. And we couldn't get the wiper cowl up here to fit. It was sitting about almost an inch higher than the top of the fender. And we couldn't understand why. Like, why is this part not fitting on the car? What they had done on the front header here, they had pie cutted it, and they added 3/4 of an inch to this piece here on this side, not on the other side, but just on this side. The whole front of the car was scooched to the passenger side. It was all crooked. And that's how they made it up to try and make it work, but it didn't work. All we ended up doing was unbolting the rad supports, the 2 big bolts that hold the rad support to the subframe. And you could almost hear the car exhale and loosen up, and then we were able to fit all the parts. So we had to get a new header. We had to get a new hood because they mucked it up. The front of the hood here was all gibbled up, so we had to get a new hood to make everything fit right. But now she fits all good. All the gaps are good. So she's ready for final blocking. And they had the splatter paint in the trunk. Now I'm gonna go over here to the Bel Air and show you what I mean by the splatter paint. That's the GM, like it's an aqua, it's kind of a little dirty, but it's an aqua type splatter, aqua black, gray splatter paint. They had that inside this Camaro, which is correct for the car, but they never scuffed the orange paint. They never scuffed it at all, so they just sprayed it on, and you could scrub it off with your fingernail. And they never clear coated it. Anytime you use those Duplicolor Aqua or the black, the trunk paints for GM, you have to clear coat it. To like you put a satin clear and it'll seal it in, or else water will take it off. You spill water in there, it'll take the paint off. So make sure you do that. And this is our 68 Mustang Fastback. This is a brand new Dynacorn shell, right from the factory, all new steel. So what we're doing now is we're just taking off the what they call like the primer they put on the car for transport. So we're gonna take that all off, just on the exterior, on any surfaces that'll see any kind of exterior weather. Like we don't bother on the inside, we'll just scuff it and put epoxy over it. But everything on the outside of the car, underneath, on the floor pans and wheel wells and engine bay, it all gets removed, and then the proper epoxy gets put on. And that's starting to come out pretty good. 79 Firebird, now finally got all the parts for this. And it's just waiting its turn on the hoist so we can do the rear frame rails and get the underside all done up. So that's coming along nicely. And over here we have the 36. And that's almost ready for paint. We got the fenders done in black. A little dusty, but that's fine. So the fenders are all done, the running boards are done. The doors are primed. We're just gonna finish the bodywork on the cab, and we'll have to take the cab off and get that sorted out. And that's doing well. The FC150, you don't see too many of these. So we just finished putting the bed and the cab back on the chassis. The chassis was just sandblasted and painted. So she's all cleaned up. She's all good to go on the inside. So that's where that's sitting now. And that's it for now. And have a good weekend.